And we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Purple Pod. We got a special discussion today with Glenn. What's going on, bro? Why don't you go ahead and plug yourself in really quick so they can find you?
Yes. Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Glenn Lawrence, and I'm playing. I have an echo. I'm playing it in the background. Okay,
Here,
here we go.
let me turn it down. Let me
I
turn it
cleared.
down.
No, I had the episode. I had the live stream playing on YouTube at the same time. What's going on, everybody? My name is Glenn Lawrence. I am. I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm an actor, Hollywood actor, producer, filmmaker, manosphere lover, red pill content consumer, and I guess I would say the new voice of the Christian red pill space. How about that?
I would say you're doing good at kind of trying to do a comedy creator thing, which I always talk about how we need more comedy in the space because people don't learn unless it's with comedy sometimes, to be honest.
Comedy is the best way to present a message that's going to be frustrating to people that they're not going to want to accept, but they could laugh at it, and then they're laughing at you, but then they were reflecting on, I do that stupid stuff too, like, so
Yeah.
then they're able to absorb it better, rather that doesn't feel so judgmental, you know.
Yeah.
So
No,
comedy.
and guys, go check out his page right now. He's tagged on YouTube. He just did a video where he was like, doing some jest with me, and like this is how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to joke back and forth about these type of things, but they were going to encourage
And
these
then
type
the
of
jokes were
relationships
never
in the
at you
manosphere.
though. They were never
Yeah.
directed at you. They were directed at
Oh
the
yeah.
people, the
It was just
question.
funny shit. It was just
Yeah,
funny shit. Period.
it was
But yeah, I
hilarious.
didn't even do like my little intro, but let me just do that really quick for just in case anybody's never came in here before. Please make sure to like the video on the way in, guys. Subscribe, follow us on the podcast Instagram as well. We're now live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube. And please go sign up for my new coaching if you need any help, if you're a guy. We also got our new Patreon. If you want to see some girls getting kicked out, you can go sign up for that and show some support by just hitting the join button under the YouTube when you come in, please. If you become a YouTube member, you get some really cool emojis, so you can type in chat. Also, the new shirts are out, so please go check those out. And we're now streaming on all the audio platforms as well. Make sure to add the Instagram right now, though. Please, 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 please. I need to grow that page. And tonight I am the producer, so I don't shout out to a producer. Um, Thank you anybody that's going to come for this like little small show tonight. It's a huge rainstorm in Dallas. I'm surprised the electricity is not fucking out here, and we're actually able to run the show. Donnie needed to stay home because that shit was too fucking bad. I didn't even want him driving through that shit. Um, but yeah, to start off, everybody, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the show from Monday. Glenn is like a big friend of Rolo, and he likes to talk about some of his content. So we're just gonna talk, review over Monday a little bit. The big thing is that I wanted to start with iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, there's always room for growth. It doesn't matter if it's red pill or manosphere, what X section of the internet it is or the world. There's always room for growth, and it's a matter of who's going to actually come into the manosphere, come into the red pill space, and actually add something new, like actually add some growth. I was like, what do you think about like that quote? I know you love the Bible, so like, what does iron sharpening iron mean to you?
Iron sharpening iron means is like, to me, is to build up, to test the durability of, something. Um, how do you make something strong? You refine it in fire. You test it. You test its durability. You test its strength. And when you're sharpening each other's, when iron sharpening iron, when I'm sharpening somebody or where they're sharpening me, they're challenging me. They're challenging where I stand on this thing, or if it's in the gym, if we're sparring, then we're sparring, we're boxing. You're challenging me. You're testing my strengths, and you're finding my weaknesses, so I know where my weaknesses are, to where I can work on them. It's not a negative thing. A lot of people get real touchy about that. Is that like, if you criticize them or you question them, they take it as like, you're coming at me, bro. And it's like, no, I'm doing my due diligence for you to make sure that where you're weak at, So I'm presenting you the opportunity to come up with a strong argument and present your case. It's not a dig, you know.
If anything, it comes from a place of love. Like Rolo's first point of calling me out on this stuff, it came from a place of love. Like he didn't have to do that. he didn't have to talk to somebody with 27,000 subs and say, you know, you should do this to try to, you know, this is what you need to look at and try to fix or you know, do. He didn't have to do any of that. It comes from a huge place of love, I believe. And I'm flattered, honestly. Like it's very respectful. Um, Honestly, though, it's like what you were saying, though. Nobody ever wants to accept when they're wrong. It's a very scary thing to accept failure. It's very scary because we're brought up thinking failure is just the worst thing in the world. Like when you fail, everything is over. Failure is just the epitome of just what you don't want your parents to see, what you don't want your family, what you don't want your girlfriend to see. You don't want nobody to see you fail. But at the same time, that's where the light is. The light is at the end of failure. And sometimes we avoid the light and we end up in darkness our whole life, and it's because we were so scared of failure. One of my biggest things I like to preach is that failure is what makes us better.
Yeah.
I really hope that, you know, either I'm gonna learn a lot from doing that video Monday, that I'm wrong about a lot of shit, or maybe other people are gonna learn stuff that they need to get better. But regardless, I'm excited about the light that's coming at the end of the tunnel. There's no darkness.
Yeah, like for me, like when I was competing back in the day and I was a trainer, you know, I used to tell my clients, you know, push till failure. You don't grow until you fail. So if you're staying in your comfort zone, right, and you're doing the reps and the weight that you know you can do, you're not growing, you're maintaining. And if you're not
Yep.
growing, you are, in all actuality, you are regressing. You're being
Yep.
stagnant. So I tell them to push till failure. So like if we're repping it out, we're doing a 5x5, maybe we're trying to build mass, and you know we're doing 315, and you did the first 4 sets of 315 pretty good. Cool. Guess what? We're upping it about 10 pounds. And you know why? Because that third or fourth rep of your last set, I want to see you dying. Okay. I want to see the arms shaking. I want to see that because that's where you're really pushing. That's when you're really growing. You're growing in that
Yes.
moment of failure. And that's where failure is. And so you can't grow in your comfort zone. So yeah, you
Yeah.
have to push until failure in everything. Push until failure. Failure is not a bad thing. Quitting is. See, failure is an opportunity to learn. Quitting is a bad thing. Quitting means you gave up. But failure just means like you just learned had another opportunity to learn how not to do what you're trying to do. So you
Very
just
true,
process
man.
of elimination. Okay, not doing that again. Moving on. Trying the next thing.
Yeah. So like the first thing that I had that was like my problems with the manosphere whenever I started my little spiel the other night was you know, one of the first things that really called me out on was he was like, who's using churn marketing? You know, like who is in the manosphere that is doing any type of churn marketing? And I said, you know, it's inadvertently using churn marketing. There's people that are inadvertently giving bad advice, and that's in turn making them more money because bad advice equals more, like, I guess I should use the word incels. More people are going to end up not having sex, not having women if they take certain advice. And then that makes them get more, they're going to come back and keep watching and keep donating and keep being the same type of consumers, you know. What's your pushback on that one thing? Like, and when I was saying that, I was mostly talking to Fresh and Fit because Michael doesn't really have a lot of things. Like he's not really going to benefit from somebody not, you know, being successful. I'm pretty sure if you buy his program, he's probably going to help you for like life. That's what a mentor usually is, or probably for a year or something like that. So I don't think Michael's really using churn marketing. I would say this is more towards like Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, so there's content creators out there that that are just recycling everything, and because I mean it's hard to create something new, and if you're not a creative or intellectual enough to create something new, everybody's just basically regurgitating the same message, right? So they stick to what they know draws eyes. Women ain't shit. They're all 304s. She's not yours. It's just your turn. You know,
Yeah.
if they have body count matters, but they don't really like dive deep into it other than just the quick talking points at times. And although these things are true to the degree, it's the collective of everything that matters. It's understanding why body count matters. Like it's not just body count doesn't just matter for women. there's have been studies that point that it does matter for guys too, to a degree, but not as significant as it does for women, right?
Yep.
So like it's like finish the sentence, explain it a little further so people are not so trigger happy, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I get that. But then it's one of those things where that's their lane. Some people are just entertainment, and some people are for education. And I think there
Yeah.
has to be a distinction between the two.
I need to just accept that, they're always going to be in that field. I guess. I think the problem is that so like I really like Andrew Tate a lot, and I really predicted and called a lot of what happened to him. Like I really predicted a lot of it, and I knew that he was gonna pivot 180 completely after it. He was get canceled. I knew that he was going to, and the reason why I knew this was because years ago, about a decade ago, or I can't remember how many years ago it was, but there was one of the school shooters. It was after one of the big shootings happened. Um, there was this wave across Twitch because I've always been a big gamer, so I was on Twitch, and there was this wave where every streamer was talking. You know how trends work. Every streamer was talking about how, because one of the streamers kind of inspired the guy that was the shooter in a way, and everybody was like, "Yo, our communities can foster this type of shit, can make these type of things." And everybody took a step back and started really looking at what they were saying, like really kind of dissected every part of their communities and like who they are and what they were reflecting and what kind of people they were creating and stuff. And it was a really different era on Twitch. It was a really crazy thing that happened, but that kind of hasn't happened outside of Twitch. Like that was just like a little thing that happened as a trend over there. But I saw that and I knew that was going to happen with Andrew. I knew that Andrew at some point was going to be like, yo, I have so many people that listen to me. I have such a mass reach. I need to take back some of these things and say, look, I don't want somebody to go do something stupid and in my name, or like do these things or think women are horrible or anything like that. And he kind of like said, I'm gonna watch what my words are now. I'm gonna use everything I say way more intelligently, and that's what that's what I was definitely like very I really loved him for doing that. And I
But
don't
my
know if that's
question
ever going
is
to
like,
happen to Fresh and Fit. I don't know if they're ever going to have that same type of reflection moment or if they're going to have to, but I just think that that's the next step.
well, my question is, what caused that pivot? Was it the cancellation? Did he have an epiphany? Did he have a revelation and saw like these words are dangerous? Or did it affect his bottom line? And he's like, oh, this is bad for business. I need to pivot, in order to still stay relevant or to still have an impact. The motive matters more, than the actual change in that sense.
True. Yeah.
I mean, if it's for his bottom line, then that's great. It's good business strategy. But if is that what it really matters, or is it the fact that I don't want to be so divisive. I don't want people to be. I want to bring men and women together. I don't want to pull them apart. They're further apart. I want to bridge that gap. How now I'm trying to figure that out. Was that the genuine reason? I don't know, and I can't judge him for it. I could just hope that he had an epiphany and that he was like, you know what, it's not only just bad for society, but this is also bad for business. Let me do some rebranding and redirect how I'm going to present this message, and that's great. I'm good with that. I'm just saying it just kind of matters where and why he was all of a sudden changing that, right?
Yeah. No, that I completely agree with you. It's just I hope it was for good reasons. Like I hope it was because there was good intention about. Like you're right, it could have just been hurting his dollar, hurting his pockets, and that's why he did it. But I hope it was very genuine, as like it looked to me. I guess I don't know. Maybe I
We could
got
be
fooled just like
optimistic. I mean,
everybody else.
it's better to be optimistic and just like because we don't know whether that was or not. So we could just best assume wishful thinking, right? Well, I hope it was just for the best. So I'm just gonna until I'm proven otherwise. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah, and like there's not. Let's just be honest here. Everybody makes money in the manosphere off of lonely, single, desperate, sad. Like this, like a lot of the men in this space are going through issues. Like that's just a fact. Like we're all like there's like as we know from all of history, there's always been a subset of men that don't have kids. that aren't going to be successful in the market.
Like
They
40%
lost the
of them, or
genetic lottery.
60, isn't it 60%? I think that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
only 40%, like you know, pass on their seeds.
Yes, yes. Historically, it's way worse. You know, like what is it, like or I forgot what the number was, 8,000 years ago. It's like 1 in 17 or whatever.
Yeah, 1 in
But
17.
yeah, but that was 8,000 years ago. But still, it's way better now. But still, if we look at the math, if we do the math, most guys who watch this content, or just guys, period, are not going to have kids. They're like, you lost the genetic lottery, and you're gonna fail. You're gonna lose the game of life if your game of life is a legacy, which I constantly preach. I believe is true. Like, I think that every man wants a legacy. I think you're lying and coping if you say that you don't.
A legacy, I mean, I get the lineage of legacy as in children, because I have kids, and I get that. But sometimes a man doesn't want kids, and his legacy is his impact, or his, what is he remembered for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, Neil Armstrong, I don't know if he has kids or not, but we all know he's the first man that walked on the moon, right? That's part of his legacy, like, so legacy could be, it's shown in multiple ways. But I do get it. I don't think all men want to have kids, and I don't think all men should have kids. Some people shouldn't. Some men and women should not procreate. They need to die off, because they're the dumb ones. Like, we need to let them just extinct themselves. We don't need any more retards running around, But I think for the majority of men, yeah, they would like to have a family. They would like to have kids, and it's harder to do that today than before.
And it's harder to guide them to that, because if we really look around in the world, there's not a lot of guide rails for this shit, man. Like, we get red pilled, and then it's like, all right, have fun, figure it out, buddy. If you want kids, you want a family, figure it out.
I get that a lot when people criticize Rollo's work. All right. And a buddy of mine that I do the breaking news with, that was one of his first things he said when we were talking in the very beginning of like linking up. He said, like, that was his issue with Rollo's work. He said he felt like it led him to a cliff and then just left him there. And I was like,
figure it out.
Yeah. I was like, well, maybe, but he also gave you all those tools through all those pages on how to build a bridge over this cliff to get to the other side. Now, it's your choice if you choose to build it or not. You got all the materials, you got all the tools. Are you going to do the work to build this bridge? Are you expecting him to build the bridge for you too? He showed you how to get there so far. You want him to build it for you? What else do you want him to do for you? It's like, well, so when it comes to that, when it comes to that, though, it's like this. The manosphere opens your eyes, you get red pilled, you get aware. Now you got this awareness, and it gives you the tools. It tells you like how to look for these things and how to operate in these things. It doesn't tell you how to operate, but it tells you like best practices that have been seen. If you do it this way, you get a better result.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you what to do, right? And guys are like, well, I need something to tell me what to do. No, you tell you what to do. We've given you the knowledge. How you choose to use that knowledge, that's up to you. I can't tell you how to live your life, and I don't want to. You
want to be told how to feel.
Exactly. People want to be told how to feel, and people want to be told what to do. There's more soldiers than there is generals. There's more soldiers. There's more, regular people that don't want to lead than there are leaders. That's why leadership is a scarcity.
So those soldiers, though, those ants, if you happen to be a leader in a society, whether it's an influencer or actual leader, like governmental or something like that, there's all these ants, there's all these drones, under us, there's all these normies, these NPCs. Where does the responsibility fall? Like, who does it fall on? Like, is it like whose responsibility is it to lead those ants in the correct directions?
See, here's the thing. There's a difference because there's no leaders here. I mean, we have very influential people that have brought great information, that have shared this information with us, but they're not touting the horn as a leader. None of them are saying, follow me, do what I do, and you will have a good life. No, they're saying, Rolo's saying, like, look, yo, I wrote this book right here, and this book has a lot of good information on it that I think you guys should read. And I think if you guys read it, it might benefit you. Okay. And so what we do, we get the book, we read it, we're like, oh wow, this is enlightening, right? And then what we do with this is no longer his responsibility. Him writing this and sharing with us is a gift. And what we choose to do with the information that we receive from it is on us, not him.
Yeah,
You know?
it's mostly fresh and fit whenever I say this, you know, because
Yeah.
yeah, Rolo's really good about sticking to his praxeology. He very rarely gives out prescriptions. And he's very smart about doing all that. But there's definitely other people that just straight up give prescriptions, say, ladies, you should do this, men, you should do this, you know,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
very, you know, like this is what I do and this is what's successful and you should do this. So it's just like we say all the time, you know, like we're just giving out, you know, just the praxeology stuff, but dude, we're all writing prescriptions. Like
Oh, I give out
let's debate
prescriptions.
which one's the best prescription, you know?
I give out what worked for me, and that's the only. Hey, and I don't tell you, hey, you should do this and you'll have a better life. You know, I don't tell you like, hey, if you know what, you move to LA and you want to get in acting, you'll be a movie star. No, it's hard work. It takes years of grinding and networking to get there. You know, and the funny thing you mentioned Sartain, because like I'm working my way to get into the MLA program because I want those networking skills, because I want to be able to network with those producers and those people at those parties that can help fund, you know, projects that like Red Pill content movies that are comedies, or, you know, I want that network so I could, you know, make these things happen, you know? So
It's
yeah, that's something I'm working towards. But it's
it's
like, if I told you, if you just came out here, you'll make it, and you moved out here and you just decided to open up a podcast out studio out here, and based off of what I said, and you fail, who holds the responsibility now? You would put that on me because I told you. So it's
yeah.
better for me to say, look, this is what I did. This is what worked for me. Um, I can't tell you what to do, but if I was in this situation, this is how I would react, or this is what I would do. And this is what worked. Now,
Yeah.
you and me are different. You know more about your situation than I do. So take the information that's given, verify it, see if it works, and if you feel comfortable to try it out, give it a shot. If not, hey, no hard feelings here.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're not sitting there telling them this is the only way to life. It's crazy that you talk about red pill movies, bro, because like I always told myself once I get into media or I get into anything like this, the end goal, like fucking if I look 20, 30 years into the future, it's absolutely making movies. It's absolutely like going out there and like making the biggest media possible to reach the most people possible, to teach the biggest ideas, like the biggest things that can change the world. I've always believed like movies change the world. I'm a huge fan of movies. I hate TV shows like a motherfucker, but I
Movies shape
love
the
movies.
culture.
Yeah. Movies are just there to me it's like a movie is made like a book. So like sometimes a book it'll tell you it has a whole goal. Like at the beginning to the end, it might be trying to teach you a moral thing or it's trying to teach you a lesson. There's something coming from this story. And by the end, you're gonna get it. And like say like you do like a report on it in school, you're gonna learn what the whole lesson was because you look so into it and shit. And like I really love that thing. And movies are the same way. Movies have a lesson to teach you. And I fucking hate TV shows today because 9 times out of 10, they just have some hook to fucking keep you watching to the next. It's a drug. It's literally churn marketing, just churning. Same with video games today. Video games are just churn marketing. Let's just keep the people paying monthly for video game passes or whatever the fuck else. Like everything is, they're trying to make monthly dollars off everyone. So all this media entertainment is just like trash. And like I just stick to just books and just fucking movies and just not all the trash. And there's gonna take people like us, like real creatives, that are gonna go into the future and put our own money into movies and good shit for shit things to change, for culture to change.
Yeah, because I have a script right now that I shopped around and got shot down by the major studios just because it doesn't meet the LGBT feminist, you know, narrative that they're trying to push. And I wasn't gonna write any characters in for it, so I was like, I'll just have to make this an independent film. And it's a funny, I call it a dick flick because it's like a male version of a romantic comedy, and it's all about frame. You know, iron rule number one. That's what the entire movie's about. But it's really funny. It's about dating apps and dating, and it's hilarious. But they don't want it out there right now because I don't have gays, lesbians, and there's not a strong female lead. So I'm like, oh well, I'll make it myself.
Yeah, no,
And I
I
already
mean,
working with the people on it. Like Savo's going to be in it. I have Savo playing the character. The main character that I was going to play. I'm going to have Savo play because I think it would be better if it was like a younger guy. I think it'll be funnier. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It's all about the media. If we could impact the media and change the media, we could impact the masses.
that's facts, bro. I'm so happy that like you're another person in the world that like understands that, because I feel like a lot of people just don't get it, especially the comedian stuff too. Like you totally get it. So also what I was talking about the other night was parasocial relationships. Like guys like get into parasocial relationships with different people that are in, like, we'll say specifically fresh and fit in this case. I have a lot of friends, bro, like a lot of guys here in Dallas and stuff. Like I've seen a lot of really weird things, man. A lot of stuff that it's just like not normal, honestly. Like and I didn't even understand what parasocial relationships were until this last year when I started noticing guys having them. And I don't know, it's very unhealthy to
Can
me,
you
bro.
elaborate? The term, I'm not
Uh,
understanding the term. Can you clarify the term?
parasocial relationship is whenever you have a relationship with somebody online, but it's not real. You know how like a lot of influencers, especially like OnlyFans girls, you'll be messaging her, but really it's just like her assistants messaging you back. Like it's just like a VA in fucking Singapore that's fucking messaging everything back.
I don't know
It's
anything about OnlyFans girls other than I have done. So
Oh yeah, so like the way OnlyFans and stuff works, so parasocial relationships even works for OnlyFans girls. Like say like a guy is like in love with this OnlyFans girl because she messages him all the time, but really it's just a virtual assistant like in another country that's messaging,
it's kind of like what Andy
and they
Tate said
think
he
it's
was
her.
doing.
Yeah.
Like
And
he
so
was
like
like
this is a big deal though, even for men though. Like there's men that say they didn't have good father figures, or they don't have brothers, or they don't have men in their lives. They will pay all types of money, for all types of courses, whatever it is. And like I do these courses, like I make these click funnels, and like I've read all the Richard or all the Russell Brunson books on click funnels and stuff, .com secrets, all of them, trafficking secrets, all those books and all those things. They really teach you how to manipulate the living fuck out of weak people, like completely manipulate them to where they're like your little slave almost, or like somebody that's so in love with you they will buy any product you do and all that type of stuff. They'll climb all the way up your value ladder, as they call it. And it's dangerous to me. It really bothers me because it just shows the ultimate grift. It just shows sometimes that a guy will sit there and fake a relationship with a guy just for $1. Sometimes, like, I don't know. Sometimes it really I don't know. What scares me is that. So I'll be honest. I like there was a situation that happened a few months ago, and one of the guys of our local group, he had like a very like near like suicidal experience. Like very bad thing happened, and it was kind of based off of like being around like one of these people, like kind of wanting to hang out with them really bad and be around them. And it and honestly, I'm never gonna bring up names in this because I respect like the person that it was a lot, and I didn't even think he was the type to have these parasocial type of relationships. It was very weird to me that this was even the case for this guy, but it really affected this one young dude because he really looked up to this guy. He really fucking looked up to him. And say it would have really bad happened, like he would have actually died, he would have actually, self deleted. Nobody would have ever known. Would have never known. Like that guy would have never known that like it was because of that. Like it would just been an invisible speck gone. And
Is
it's
it like
just it's
somebody
really
like
crazy to me that it was going on.
is it somebody like he was like uh he was following an influencer and like he was like paying for their membership and like I'm just assuming like he's like sending in super chats and like just trying to be
Yeah.
like real connected and then like the
Well,
guy's
some
just like ghosting him or like and he just felt like
Yes, yes,
okay
yes,
so
ghosted,
I'm just trying to
completely ghosted. That's exactly what it was ghosted. Now were these guys acting weird maybe to get ghosted? Were they fucking texting a bunch of fucking weird? But the thing is, like, when you make money, because like I kind of saw what was going on like throughout all of it, and it was one of those things where they were like, yeah, 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 like text me, and he never. replied, like he gave him like a false number, like a different number and stuff. So it's just like it's this whole like false thing that fooled the person, you know. And then they're like blowing up their Instagram, like, hey, remember me? Like I was talking, like I saw you that we hung out the other night, and it's just like I don't know. It really bothered me though. This is one of those things that just really made me just be like I'm scared to even do this internet shit because I don't want to have anybody look up to me like that. Like I
Well,
want people
yeah,
to look up to me as like a brother, but not to the point where like I'm like you're like
your
uh
hero,
I don't
your
know, I'm
savior.
everything to you almost. It's weird.
Yeah, because people they get this messiah complex with people, right? And it's not so much the influencers' fault, but they do play a role, right?
It's mental health for
Yeah,
sure.
like I tell people, like, look, I ain't no hero, okay, and I am not your leader. Don't put me on that. Now, you could come to me like I do consults with guys that have an impacting consulting, business. Guys could, I could talk to them, help them through whatever their problems are, like coach them through what I could do or what I think, it's all it is. All I do is act as a soundboard, and I really just help guys come to the solution that they really want and what they need to do. I don't really
Hmm.
tell them what they should do, but I help them go through the process of elimination, because sometimes that's what you just need. You just need someone to talk to and kind of just bounce ideas off of you and to help you get through what you're trying to figure out, you know? And that's what I do. I work with them to try to figure out, okay, how do you want to get here? So if we want to get here, what's the path? How do we get here? And we troubleshoot it. But and that's much of a as a grift as I do, is like that's because my time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable. And if I just give it away freely, then I'm not able to put it in other areas. But
Yeah.
I'm very personable. Anybody that comments on anything, I respond to as quickly as I can. Now I'm not as big as a lot of these higher content creators, so I can see how that could be very difficult to do. But I would
Yep.
still make an effort to try to do it as best as I can. But it still falls on the person, because you choosing to idolize or pedestal me was nothing I told you to do or asked of you to do. And
Yeah.
so there's the level of responsibility that the individual has to take and realize, guess what, man? I take a shit just like you take a shit. I breathe in the same air that you breathe in. Okay, like I'm no different than you in the sense of I'm just a man that has faults and failures, and I got a little success somewhere down the road. Okay, but guess what? That's it. That's it. And my success is minimal compared to other people's success. So like I'm not your hero.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
See,
if my information that I give you helps you out, but don't look to me to be your savior. And I think I'm not saying that every content creator should, come out with that, but I mean, I think disclaimers should be true and said that, because I don't want nobody to pedestalize me. That's just
yeah.
me.
Yeah, no, it's really about the amount of value that is put up. So I feel like some of them have immense value whenever you buy their things. Like it's totally fucking worth it. You get so much of their time, you get so much information that's gold. It's worth it. And then some of them, like you were saying, they get so big. They got so many people messaging them and stuff. It becomes a straight fucking grift because it's too easy. Like, why not just? It's like stealing candy from kids. Like, just fucking do it. Like, fuck it. Like, goddamn, I'm gonna make a $500,000 this year if I just fucking just say some of this stupid shit and just jump through these little hoops. It's like, why not do it? Like, I totally get it from a business perspective, 1,000%. It's just a matter of like staying true to yourself and having like good
Being
character
accountable.
as you're making money. But it's hard once you get so big to like put greed down.
It's the accountability factor, right? It's the authenticity and the accountability of it. Like, is
Yeah.
the message are you giving? Are you being accountable to what you say you're going to do? And I
Yeah.
think that's
Shane,
important.
shout out to you, Shane. What up, bro?
Yeah,
Thank you
Shane,
for,
I
for
see you in the
coming,
chat,
man.
bro. Salute.
Yeah, and yeah, Donnie, I agree with you, man. Too many dudes, viewers in the manosphere that do a whole lot more dick riding than the female nature that they complain about. The comments prove it. Yeah, like that's another thing is the dick, bro. I see the dick riding every day. Like every day, I get a comment on my on somewhere on one of my YouTube things, and it's like, oh, you're just like you're kind of copycat, fresh and fit, and it's like, oh my god, bro, have you ever heard of standing on the shoulders of giants, or this is your first time like seeing somebody copy something before? It's
It,
not.
the way
And
I
it
look
makes me
at it
mad
is
because
that,
it's like I'm different.
yeah, I mean, you may have copied the template, but
Yeah,
you're doing it in a different vein. So you got
Yeah.
another lane that you're doing. Yeah, you may copy the foundation of it, but you're moving it in a different direction. You know, and I here's the thing with the Fresh and Fit, because I know a lot of people have like different opinions on them, right? Personally, I think their better content is the content that's not late at night. That's just me.
Yep. The
You know,
daytime content.
I think there's more information, more valuable information that's practical that could be applied in those streams than the evening streams. The evening streams is just entertainment. It's just like, okay, what's on now? Oh, let's watch another 304 get thrown out. Let's see some Frank Castle going on. Mind you, though, I'm the real Punisher. I got the tattoo on my chest. Okay, I want to see Myron with the Punisher tattoo on his chest before he starts calling himself Frank Castle. But I digress.
Yeah, I don't think he has any tattoos, or maybe he
I
does.
know,
But
I know. I'm not sure if he
I
does.
actually I tuned in on Monday after I did that show, and his show looked way different, bro. Like I watched it until the end, and he was really trying to convince the girls of some stuff. Like he was really trying to teach them. Like it was kind of different. It was kind of like my show, honestly. Like it reminded me of watching my own show. And he was like really. He wasn't degrading. He wasn't talking shit. He was giving legitimate, really good advice to try to help the girls. And they were all. It was really boring. Like the show was super boring, chat was even kind of talking shit, but it was really interesting because it kind of made me think he is doing something different. Like he is kind of trying to teach more than do gotchas,
Well,
and gotchas are cool. You do gotchas and teach at the same time.
I think it's kind of depending on who's the crowd that who you're working with, right? So if I'm working with somebody that's just
Oh
really
yeah,
combative, right? I'm not going to be in teacher mode.
true,
I'm gonna pin you down and make you look stupid mode, and then hopefully by enough times of making you look stupid, you're gonna stop talking and actually taking the information I'm trying to give you. All right. But
true.
then if the people that are in there are like more receptible, able to receive the things that I'm saying, they're not so combative. They may be questioning, or they may have opinions, but they're not coming at me, confrontationally or argumentatively. Then I could scale back, right? And then be able to present things a little differently and articulate a little bit better what I'm trying to say rather than just the zingers.
I agree, dude. Um, what do you think about when it comes to like being honest on YouTube versus like lying, or just like even any a salesman, like a snake oil salesman or anything like that? Like would you say that there's a lot more money in, say, lying or the divide, hyperboles? There's a lot more money in like doing all that shit than in like my show, where I'm just trying to, what I would call, doing the right thing sometimes.
Well, see, and here's the problem with say doing the right thing, because now you're framing it on a moral stance,
Mm-hmm.
morality, right? And if you're just relaying red pill content, the just the praxeology, just what we know, what we have, what has been documented, what Rollo has written, if you're just reiterating and regurgitating those things, right? That's still the right thing, right? It's still a science, it's still a truth. The right thing is subjective to the individual, right? Like, so let's say take Fresh and Fit's evening show. The right thing for them is to expose the negative attributes of female nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wake guys up to realize that not all girls are sugar, sweet and nice and sugar and spice, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to remove the veil over your eyes so you can see the monsters for what they really are, right? Right, and then that's what they feel is morally good for them to help. That's how they feel like they're helping guys out in that sense. That their
Yep.
moral compass says to do that. Your moral compass tells you know what? It's not. I don't want all the guys to think that all women are like this. So I'm trying to highlight good, or as you would say, good women or good attributes or behaviors that women can exhibit that are valuable to a guy, and
Mm-hmm.
that's also your moral standpoint, and that does help guys out too who are wanting to get in relationships. But
It's two sides of the same coin, though.
exactly. You can't have what you do without having what they do. You know what I'm
It's like a
saying?
yin and yang more than a
Exactly.
fucking two
You
different
guys are
things.
complementary to each other. You guys balance each other out. Like the two types of shows literally balance each other out because there's you don't want everything to be so polar opposite, you know. And you need what you guys do is you guys are polar opposites, but what reality is, what we live in is in the middle. Do you know what I'm saying? Not every
Very
woman you
true.
meet
Yeah.
is going to be like an angel, and not every woman you meet is a 304. We all live in this gray area in the middle, the nuance, right?
Very true.
But knowing the limits of these things are important. But yes, to answer your question, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, selling of hopes and dreams. You know,
Yeah.
you buy my course, I'll teach you how to be a man, and you could, you know, get all the women in the world, and you know what, your balls will be drained every single day of the week. Oh, that sounds great. Here's $500.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Well,
Yeah.
it worked for me, so I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there's a lot of selling of hopes and dreams, and that's where I'm like, man, I hate this aspect of the grifting, you know, because there are some courses out there. Like I'll say this, like Aaron Clary's, you know, the Dad You Never Had course. I support that like 100%.
Yeah. Some of them are fucking worth it, bro.
Aaron Clary
So
is a
worth it.
genius. He's a genius, man. He's a genius. I love working with him, and I do have a project I'm working on privately with him. But like, dude is great, and his courses are always 100. Like, is 100 absolutely. But there's some other people like there's some guy named like David from like Self Developed. I'm like, he attacked the red pill and called them all grifters. And at the end of the video, he's like, and if you want, you could buy my course and you could join me. I'm like, so wait a minute, you're accusing everybody of grifting, and then you're going to end with grifting. So you're a hypocrite. Like, you know, so no, honesty is needed, but honesty there has to be verified. And that's the problem I think with the space is that there's no gatekeepers, right? And I understand why like Rolo wouldn't want to be a gatekeeper, you know, like, hey, no, I don't, he did, and I get that. Although like people would assume that he's gonna be a gatekeeper or he does gatekeeping, and I see why he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't really come at it that way. But there has to be, I think that's what's wrong with this space is that there's no gatekeepers. And also we have two different manospheres. We have the manosphere, and then we have this black manosphere. You know, why do we have the different manospheres? Why don't we just have a manosphere if we're gonna have a manosphere, just all men, you know, like that
Yeah.
crossover and share notes.
It's very split. Yeah, no, that's like we like to say that it's not split. Like I know Rolo sometimes says it's not split, but like there's panels of nothing but the white guys, and then like I was just on a panel last night, and it's a panel of mostly minorities. It's mostly like black people usually, sometimes one or two Hispanics, like, and that's like it kind of does get split up sometimes like that. I don't think it's like on purpose or anything. I think it's just because you end up clicking with people that you're more like. It like it's so weird for me because like I'm Mexican, like I'm Hispanic, but I grew up in like the most like rural like white town ever in south of Dallas. So like I was one of very few Mexicans even in my town. So it's just like everybody like I told all the time I act white. Like I don't even fucking care when people say that because it's fucking true. I'm a gringo like a motherfucker. Like I'm not offended by it at all. I just see like I'm very in the middle. I wish that we could all just like meet in the middle sometimes for some of this shit. Um,
Yeah, like
I
see, like
wanted to
me,
know what do you?
I'm like Hispanic, Italian, you know, a little bit of North African. You know, 23 and Me told me all about me. You know, like so I'm a mutt. I'm a mutt, and I grew up in a black home. Like my biological brother and sister are black. Like dead
That's
ass.
crazy.
So it's like, you
Yeah, like
know,
my like
I grew up being
I,
called all kinds of derogatory names that start with the N word. Okay, and it was just that's
yeah
just part of our you know our culture in there.
yeah. No, I have an ancestry thing at home. I need to fucking do it and see what I actually am. Uh, I actually know part of my bloodline goes all the way back to uh what was his name? The like Charlemagne, but not or wait, is that his name Charlemagne, but not Charlemagne the God,
I
but
was
like
like,
the actual
wow,
Charlemagne,
wow, that's
huh?
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's anybody who has the anybody with the who has family with the last name V Hill in New Mexico in Albuquerque. There's an article about it, and that's what my mother's maiden name is, and so like everybody from my mom's side is all has bloodline from Charlemagne. Fucking weird.
That's crazy.
I wanted to ask, do you think, how you were saying like during the day shows, like for Fresh Fit, they might have 4 or 5 thousand people watching, but then night shows come and they got a solid 15K usually watching. It's a big 10,000 difference of people, that are watching for, the entertainment versus self improvement. How many of those people do you actually think like we like to say in Red Pill and in the manosphere, like there's no misogyny, like there's no hatred of women. Let's be honest though, how many percentage of those do you think might actually hate women? Like they might actually do that.
So legitimately hate women, like
Yeah.
legitimately hate, I want to say maybe.
Like they've had nothing but bad experiences their whole life,
So
kind of.
there's a difference. There's a difference being angry and being woken up to the red pill, and you're stuck in that anger stage, right?
Yeah, red pill
I
rage.
love the way that Rollo like explains this. It's like, looking at it as like the 5 stages of grief. There's the 5 stages of red pill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and guys get stuck in this anger stage, and it's just they haven't matured out of it yet. Because part of the anger stage is at first. Well, there's two parts of this anger stage, in my opinion. The first part is the initial part where you're like, oh, that woman, these women are just nothing but trifling ass, evil ass, Decepticons, they're a bunch of Jezebels, right? And they get that aspect of it, and then but once you realize you grow out of that part, and then you realize, no, you're mad at you. I'm After like my divorce and everything, yeah, I was mad as hell at my ex. But then I got mad at myself for like, man, I saw all these red flags and I chose not to, do anything about it. I started being more mad at myself because I put myself in the end in that
An
situation.
accountability issue.
Exactly. And see, a lot of guys are not there yet. There's a lot of guys in this space that are, especially when they're coming in to this space, they still have to go through the full process. And if they're just consuming content that is just red meat, right? That is just, the 304s and, pointing out all the negative aspects of female nature. When you
What
consume
about the victim too? Like the
yeah, you
victim
get the victim
mentality.
mentality. You develop that victim mentality if you just constantly consume that stuff. And
Yeah.
there's when they it's not the content creator so much, because if like take Fresh and Fit, they do other things, but not enough people want to watch that stuff. They want to watch the triggering stuff, right? But they do try to help guys out. They do help guys out with other areas, money, investments, all kinds of information they do provide. But what do these guys want? They want this stuff. And I understand the business move of it, but it's also they have to. You think those other courses or the other streams are covering their expenses? Probably not.
Yeah.
So in order to
Yeah.
maintain to do what they have to do to get the good courses that go out in the daytime out, they have to do the triggering stuff because that's
Yep.
what pays the bills. So it's like,
Yeah.
I get it, but it's up to the consumer, right? If
Yeah.
I'm watching nothing but Fresh and Fit at night and I don't watch the daytime stuff, and I'm just watching all the triggering stuff, then whose fault is it if I end up developing this mentality? It's me,
Yeah.
because I chose to consume this material. I didn't choose. I
Yeah.
wouldn't choose to read the Rational Mail. I didn't choose to listen to Ryan Stone. I didn't choose to listen to Rolla's 5-hour podcast, or podcast. I didn't choose to listen to Apex Mindset. I didn't choose to listen to Purple Pill podcast, because I wanted the triggering stuff. So the responsibility falls on the individual that's consuming the material to do their
Yeah.
due diligence and to get other information. Because then that means
Yeah.
they want to be the victim still. They still want that victim mentality. They want people to feel bad for them. And in this red pill space, to be honest with you, nobody cares.
So
I mean,
so
we want to
So
help you.
sometimes I like to say that in the red pill space or just in the manosphere, there's a lot more like I really, really categorize shit sometimes as feminine and masculine. I'm super big about that. I'm super big about being that's a masculine thing, that's a feminine thing. Like girls like just taking just all types of stuff like pictures and vanity. Like I think a lot of things women are supposed to do because it's like more for them than for men. So like one of those things though, it kind of goes back to like the victim like mentality. I really think that's a feminine behavior. Like, I really think it's a hyper feminine thing. Like, you either saw that from seeing a mother all the time playing victim, or like for me, I was never a victim because I had two really strong father figures that never ever like let me be the victim. Like, they were constantly like, oh no, like I was kicked out by both of them at 18. Like, neither one of my fathers was gonna let me fucking come stay with them. It was like, you better fucking take care of your shit. And it really made me avoid. I had no excuse. There was no way I could have ever been a victim. It just wasn't possible. And I wonder, is this just intense coddling? Is this the guys that are playing huge victims? Is it because their parents are letting them live at home until they're 28? Is it because they're fucking they're just they're seeing a mother that playing victim all the time? Is it because they're seeing all this content of women playing victims, and maybe that makes them want to play the victim too? What do you think it is? Like where do you think this feminine energy, as I call it, is coming from? Like, where's the root of this shit coming from?
Let me give you a statistic on this. I'm going to tell you a story. All right. And this is from a documentary that I'm working on. And the documentary is about false allegations. Okay. In SA and, grape and DV allegations. And in the UK, I was talking to a guy that, so the UK, they have like political parties. They have like tons of political parties over there. We have like
Yeah.
liberal and Dems and Republicans, right? They have all kinds. So they have this like men's rights political party. Okay. And I was talking to the chapter leader there out there. And he was great. He was kind enough to give me an hour, or I think it was 2 hours of his time, just going back and forth, giving information. And he told me, he's like, look, let me tell you something. And I think it was 2013, they started, with sexual assaults, they started paying women who were victims, of SAs, right? So if a girl came out and said that you SA'd her, right, or raped her, and they got a case on you now, then the government would started paying them, like a severance. Oh, they have a disability now, or they're injured, or whatever, like some type of monthly payment.
Incentivizing people to say
It
shit.
incentivized it, right? And so out there, since in order to be considered raped, it has to be done by a male appendage. Okay, you know what you guys I'm talking about. You know the appendage I'm saying. I'm not gonna say it, but it's the thing, right? So that's what they considered grape out there. So a woman can't grape a guy, but only a guy could grape a woman, or a guy could grape a guy. So what started happening is guys started noticing, like, these bitches are getting paid and they're falsifying it, right? So
Yeah.
guys started doing it and started accusing other men of grape just to catch the check, right? They're seeing what works. Guys are smart. Like, wait a minute, I'm doing this and this is not working for me. What's going on over there? Oh, that's all I got to do. All I got to do is play the victim, and I could get a little somewhere. Oh, watch this. Let me put on the waterworks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a learned behavior.
It's been incentivized too. It's incentivized to be a victim today.
And out there, luckily, I think they stopped doing the payment thing in 2018. But I know it was like a 4 to 5 year span, but it was bad.
I'm just saying, like, it's incentivized in other ways. Like, playing victim on YouTube and acting like guys have it so hard. I'm incentivized to do so because I might be able to get more clicks. Like, playing victim is just there's profit behind being a victim because you get more clicks sometimes for that bullshit.
And being
I
a
want to go to
victim
what
doesn't
Excel.
require you to grow up. Being a victim,
Yeah.
you don't have to grow up. You've been damaged.
Yep.
So the accountability, you don't hold any accountability if you're a victim. And see,
it's a privilege thing. It's like if you're in America, in the most privileged country in the world, we're more likely to play victim when we have all the privileges that anybody could ever imagine. I wanted to talk about Excel Self's thing here. He said it might not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. Someone wise,
absolutely.
Excel. Something that I always love to talk about is the quote from Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. So all these guys who are really fucking big and they got all the power in the world, all the viewers in the world watching them, they have a fucking responsibility. I don't care what anybody says. They have a responsibility to fucking to put out the right type of content. I'm never going to let them think that, oh well, it's okay because it's praxeology, or because it's this is just my advice that I think is best. It's like I'm always gonna sit there and iron sharpen iron, like try to make their advice better, because you're responsible. You are responsible when you have that much power. It's like anybody that's an influencer
Everybody
is
has
a
that power,
superhero,
bro.
and there's some superheroes that are good superheroes, and there's some that are bad.
Yeah,
They're
everybody has
evil.
that power. Like, for example, and this is where a lot of people, and I love that quote. And I say that quote all the time myself. So when my wife cheated on me, I did not cause her to cheat on me. She chose to cheat on me, but I had the
Yeah,
responsibility to act now after
yeah,
she did. So what am I going to do now? You know, I have the responsibility to make a decision and act on it. And I divorced her. It's like deuces, I'm out, right? And
yeah,
that was my action. I did not cause the divorce. She caused it by her actions, but I had the responsibility to make a decision and act. And I made my decision. So, there's a difference between who is responsible and who is at fault. Everybody is responsible to act or to make a decision on what they're going to do. You may not have caused the mess that you're in, but you have the responsibility to decide whether you're going to stay in that mess you're in, or you're going to do something to get out of that mess you're in, and how you're going to do it. That's your responsibility. So the victim mindset, it doesn't look good on guys. Let me tell you something, guys. Nobody cares.
yep,
And I say that sincerely. We may sympathize with you. I may understand, like, dude, I know exactly what you're going through. I know what it's like to feel suicidal. I know what it's like to put a gun to your head when wishing things were over. I get that because I've been there and I sympathize with you. But I can tell you also, nobody cares. I can't save you. I can't make you want to do something that you are failing to do for yourself. I can't give
yep.
you the hopes and
Facts.
dreams and the passion to do it. Only you can. You have to find it within you to do that. I can encourage you, but I can't make you. And that's what people need to realize. There's nothing I could do for you. There's nothing you could do for them if they don't want to do it themselves.
Facts, bro. Fucking so true, man. But one of the next things I want to talk about is there's something I talk about a lot, and I know you're going to be a good pushback on this because I know you like the gym stuff a lot and you were a bodybuilder. Something that I'm really against is vanity. I'm very against looks. I'm very against people being shallow. I'm very against just, to me, everything that I learned from Christianity. It was just like everything on the outside doesn't matter. It's about the inside. Like, and it just made it to where I really don't like a lot of men that chase stuff that is so physical. That like, it to me, it's just because for me personally, it made me insecure. Like the few times in my life where I was very about that, it made me extremely egotistic and extremely insecure at the exact same time. Very egotistic and insecure. And so for me personally, it wasn't a good thing for me. It was nearly bad for my mental health. For me to like get into gym culture and stuff like that. And that's definitely not every person. That is definitely a very probably small subset of people that are like me. Um, I definitely think it's like, especially today when everybody's overweight, damn near everyone, it's the number one thing that everybody needs to do. Especially, and also when everybody's depressed, it's the number one thing everybody needs to do. But what I wonder is, does all this vanity, all this focus on looks, guys focusing so much on looks instead of like finances, when finances, being a provider, is what really equals a family usually. Don't get me wrong, being a protector is a huge deal in the dynamic of a relationship. But when there's things like guns today, and anybody can fucking be a home protector, with something like that, I think it just evens the odds a little bit. Do you think that there might be some guys that are focusing too much on that? And I'm saying this a lot because I see a lot of gym cells. I see a lot of guys that go to the gym, they're huge, but they don't get no pussy. They have no social skills, so they can't get girls. So they're just big, strong guys that are weird. And then I also see a lot of guys, that do all this, and then they get this attitude where they think they're like nines and tens or eights, and it's like, bro, you may like look okay, but you don't have no social skills, and you're broke still, and you're still, like, so it's something that really sometimes I push back a lot against it, because it's like, you got your priorities fucked up, bro. Like, if you would have focused the last 6 years on your finances, you'd be making over 100K a year right now, fucking buying your first, second house, maybe. Like, you'd be doing these other things. What's your opinion on all that I kind of just spilled?
So let me tell you a story. I love telling stories. So let me tell you something. I was 285 pounds of fat at one point in my life. Okay, 2007, 2008. Yeah, I was a fat fuck, and I was married, right? And I chose to make a change. Now, me, I work so much better on negativity. Like, if you want to give me attaboys, that's great. It doesn't really do nothing for me. But tell me I can't do something, and then watch me do it and blow you out of the water. So, like, I had a friend that was a competitor, and I was like losing weight. He was kind of coaching me, and I was like, yeah, I said, next year I'll probably be up there stage with you one of these days. And he's like, nah, bro, you don't got it in you. I was like, what'd you say? And then I beat him every year that we competed against each other because we were the same height and in the same class, and I outplaced him every single time. And so for me, but what did it teach me though? Let me tell you something. I learned more about discipline than I did when I was in the military. I learned more about being consistent than I did when I was in the military. I took all those principles and those great things that I learned from being, disciplined in the gym, and I applied it to going to college, and I got my degree in religion as an honors. Yep. Now, I was the last of class and first to leave in high school. Like, I barely made it through high school, but I was an honor student and honor graduate in college because I took what I learned from fitness and I applied it to another area of my life. Now, you could do the same thing. You could take those core principles that you learn and apply it to your business. You can apply it to your finances. You can apply it to your relationships, and you will see those things thrive. So I always encourage, fitness. But here's another thing. Too much of one thing is bad for you. Okay, true. So if you're just so focused on the gym and getting this chiseled body and getting a six pack and having rippled effect, like, great, that's great for your body. But if you're not focused and putting any attention on anywhere else, you're still gonna be not up to par. You're still not up to the standard. Okay, you got one thing off the checklist, but you're not everywhere else. So yeah, no, it's a balanced thing. It's a balanced approach. But the reason why I always encourage gym first, right? Because it's the first thing that you could do where you could actually have, tangible results that you could see quickly. And you could take that confidence from that tangible results and you can start applying it elsewhere. Okay, so I did this, and now I got the confidence I look good now, so I got confidence now. Okay, cool. Maybe I could talk to that girl. Maybe I'm gonna try talking to that girl now because I have this confidence. Yep. Okay, well, maybe maybe I could go to the, I got the looks, I could do this. Maybe I could learn something if I take this information that I learned and practice it in another area. Cool, now I got this great, knowledge, and I got this, I could apply for this job now. When I didn't have education, I couldn't get this job, but now, thanks to fitness, and I applied it somewhere else, I can now got a better job. Now I can provide for a family. I don't have a family yet, but I can still move. I'm moving in that right direction. Now, oh, look at this girl likes me. I get a lot of girls like me. Okay. Oh, I'm going to marry this one. Okay. Now, do you see how the progression works if you do it right? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you take the understanding of what you're learning and applying it correctly, it can really help elevate you. And to me, I always think fitness should start first because it's the first thing you could grab onto and you can see the results and hold it. Everything else is kind of like it's in the distance. You could make money if you do this, but you're like, man, that's 3-4 years down the road. I need something now to hold on to.
I need results now.
Exactly. So it kind of helps you in the process.
In today's day and age where people really live in the moment too, getting those instant results kind of, or like getting not instant results, but the instant gratification, like feeling that tiredness and like that fucking, like that feeling, like there's nothing comparable. You're right. There's not one thing I think that reduces or releases more endorphins and stuff to make you feel better than going and weightlifting or doing the gym. For sure.
Let me tell you this,
especially when you're on all the fucking shit that they give you now, like fucking pre-workout and shit.
Let me tell you something. But the nicest people I've ever met, some of the most humble people I've ever met, have been competitors.
1,000%, bro. Some of my best friends are competitors, and one of them actually
had more prayer groups with competitors. I know more Christian competitors than I do anyone else. And maybe that's just because of the clique that I roll with. But to answer Shane's question, yes, religion like theology. I have a degree in religion from Liberty University. I was a youth pastor at one point. But it's in moderation. Everything in moderation. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I always like to say too much of anything is bad, too little of anything is bad. Like you can die from
exactly.
drinking too much water. A woman literally died from drinking too much water in a water competition once to
Yep.
win like a Wii. She had to
Yeah, it
hold
was
her
like
Wii
in
for the Wii and she died.
it was in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
James Bond, 975. I like this comment, bro. Overweight is an eating problem. In 1950s, no one was in the gym and very few were fat, obese. And I have worked in the gym for 25 years. Yeah, I really like to go back to that, bro. Like, I really see this as like a overcompensation right now from all the fat people. Like, there's a lot of people that go a little bit too far. And I have a lot of friends that were really into the gym stuff. I mean, juicers and all. But the sad thing is one of them did pass away a few years ago. And like, it's something that really makes me sad because I know it was heavily associated with his addiction to, wanting to be better. He was very insecure, like, and it just made him go way too hard and wanted to push it way too farther than everybody else sometimes. And it's just like for some people it's bad. Shout out to Connor Murphy. He did a whole documentary on the gym culture and like power lifters and stuff because there are some people that do it right. Like Christians, bro, 9 times out of 10 are doing it so right, like perfectly how you should be doing it. But some guys do it like drug addicts, like and
Well,
like
yeah,
my friend in my friend's case, he got addicted to other drugs because of it. Like it wasn't even like it just was like a gateway almost for him. And that's why it really hurts me whenever I talk about those subjects sometimes.
I think again,
What was
it's the abuse of it, right? It's the abuse, and I think that's what we have to focus on. Is like the abuse of this stuff could be bad for you. Shout out to
Yep.
Thor. I see you in there, Slord. Salute. He is the general. If you want to catch, you always catch me on his show on Saturdays on our panel, the Dragon Ship. So I see you in here. Salute, Thor. But it's just it's the idolizing it, right? Because the Bible says,
Yeah, no, they be roasting me in my Discord about not doing my push-ups, bro. They get we have a whole thing where everybody has to do their push-ups. I'm the only one that's slacking right now.
the Bible talks about don't put any idols up, right? Well, the love of fitness, the love of working out, and like that could be an idol. Chasing money could be an idol. Chasing women could be an idol. Chasing success and vanity, that could be an idol. So yeah, you shouldn't make it an idol, but you should make it a
Sure.
useful tool to help push you down the road, to help you further your success.
Yep,
So
very true. Yeah, shout out to you, Thor. Thank you for coming, bro. I love you actually all the time whenever I see you on Rolo's panel sometimes, man. It's really dope seeing you just in my chat. I look up to you a lot, man. Um Hombre of the house also with a 5. Thank you, bro. Like the video and make Sergio do some push-ups. Yeah, guys, please like the video. I will do my push-ups tomorrow if y'all all promise me to like this fucking video right now when y'all
you
see
know what?
this.
I think we gotta get that recorded, or it didn't happen. We gotta see
Oh
these
man, just to
push-ups.
make me do this shit every time,
Hey,
bro.
hey,
I
it's
hate recording.
accountability, bro. We gotta be accountable for what we say.
Nah, man, they're gonna fucking roast me for my form the whole time,
Hey, I
man.
rather I rather than roast you for your form and know that you're a man that stands by his word than a man that doesn't.
Oh, these motherfuckers, man. Y'all making me work. I'm trying to keep up with these chats, guys. I want to talk to all y'all. AKS, self greed, Thor again. Yeah, Skull. Yeah. As a god amongst men, do not idolize me.
Told
LOL.
you. See, we don't
Good.
do that. We don't do that around here.
Yeah, good cast. Son. Yeah,
Thanks,
no,
Pop.
thank you, bro.
No, he's
Um,
talking to me. He
oh,
calls me a son all the time. But he called you a
yeah.
son too. You can be a son too. He's the god of thunder, so he has probably tons of kids.
What do you think about narcissism when it comes to online? Like, do you think that there's a lot of people in the just period, just influencers, YouTubers, just period? I have this belief that just to get into this type of shit, it takes a level of narcissism to talk into a goddamn camera, to think that
Yeah.
you're better than other people, to just think that like you're worthy of doing something like this. I just think it takes a level of I don't know, arrogance.
I think everybody that wants to be known for something, that wants to be recognized for something, that wants to be an authority of something, have narcissistic traits. Doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that. So like check this out. I believe there was a study that they said like every president in the United States has been a narcissist.
Yep.
Okay, so think about it. Like if you want to rule a country, you have got to have some narcissistic traits for it in there. If you want
A
to be
thousand
somebody
percent.
that people look up to or watch as an actor, I know that there's narcissistic traits that all actors have. They have that drive and that desire to be noticed in front of the camera. I got it too. I get it. But there's a healthy level and then there's an unhealthy level, right? And I think that, there's, and it's like, I'm not saying narcissist, I'm saying narcissistic traits, because you need at least 5, from the whatever it's called, to be considered a narcissist. But I think everybody has some degree of narcissistic traits, and we could see them, exhibited in many ways. And yes, Biden is definitely a narcissist with his ice cream.
It takes a level of narcissism to be that retarded and still fucking think you're smart, huh? So this is another thing. What do you?
Thanks, Jane.
Well, so like one of the last things that I kind of like talked about on the show was I was against Michael Sartain's thing about doing TRT. What's your opinion on TRT? Do you like the natural way of doing things sometimes? Like, do you think that there's natural ways to fix certain problems, or do you think that TRT is always the answer? Do you think that it's only sometimes the answer? Like, what do you think about it?
So let's be honest. This is a conversation we got to dive in a little deeper in here. So the science have proven that men have been dropping their testosterone levels naturally more and more as previous ages go down, right? So the generation, like Thor's generation, right? For example, you see Thor, he looks good, shredded. He's in his 60s, right? He in his 60s, if he was or wasn't, I don't know, I'm not going to say if on gear, right, or TRT, if he was or wasn't, still probably would have more natural testosterone flowing through him than a 20-year-old today. Because the things that we consume have a lot of estrogen in them, a lot of soy, right? Even in our body washes, things that we put on our bodies, lotions, product, they have a lot of estrogen stuff in them. So we put in a lot of estrogen in our body. So I think TRT is important for men, and it's actually important for your mental health, because when your testosterone drops for a man, you start getting more depressed. You start getting fatter. You start losing your drive. Okay. Now there's plenty of natural remedies that you could utilize that could help. Absolutely. But there will come a time that those natural remedies are not going to help enough. Okay. So you have to you have to come to the conclusion to yourself. Do you care enough whether or not you get depressed? Do you care enough if you get lazier or you lose the drive? Do you care enough if you don't have much of a sex drive as much as you used to? Do you care enough if you don't really look as good as you used to, because testosterone helps break down fat? Do you care enough about those things? And then if you say no, then don't get on it. But if you do care enough, if you do value the drive and the things that that testosterone benefits you, then yeah, get on it. Be healthy about it. I would say, anybody that wants it, then go. If you're in the Dallas area or any area, hit up Phil Foster Fitness. Phil Foster does all that stuff. He gets your levels checked. He tells you how much, if you need it or if you don't need it. He's very honest and true to you. Go to philfoster.com. He's out there in Dallas. He's a homie. He runs that whole business out there. Does great. And he helps guys manage their levels, their hormone levels, to make sure that they're in the right optimal level that they could be. The reason why we see a rise in suicides and stuff like that is because there's not a focus, not just because of the mental health aspect, but there's not a focus on the hormonal aspect that men go through, the changes that men go through. We all know about women go through menopause and all their hormonal problems, and we know how to regulate, and we talk about their medications that they should take and help them benefit it. But we don't really focus on what the guys should take and what guys should do. So you got a lot of guys that are already soy enough, they're already soft as it is, and then now their testosterone drops, and now they're even more feminine, and then they lash out. They have no way to control or regulate themselves, because their emotions are on a mess because their hormones are off. So if guys were smart and they got into it and they studied TRT and they realized and they decide for themselves whether or not it's going to be best for them, because it's all by individual person. I would never say all men should get on TRT. You may not need it. You may just naturally have high testosterone. You may be good, but for the guys that are, I would say, take into consideration what you're going through. See if the natural path maybe work best for you, If it doesn't, if you're not seeing improvement, then consider it, because you want to benefit your life in the long run.
What I'm really curious about is what's the end, like this, like the whole thing that bothers me. But like I'm down with 90% of it. The only thing that bothers me is what is the end goal? Like when you get off of it, your balls have a hard time producing testosterone again. So you got to do a bunch of stuff to get it back up. Like, is the goal to do it until we're dead? Is the goal is to get shots every week until you're 80, 90? Because there's not a lot from what I know. You might be able to tell me that I'm wrong in this. From what I remember and what I know, there's not a lot of stuff to fix your testosterone once your body your balls stop creating it as much. And once your natural estrogen is boosted up, you can take estrogen blockers. But from what I know, even that, like once you're done doing it, you just kind of have to cycle back on at a certain point or something. Like I want to know what the end goal is. Like if somebody gets on at 35 or 40, are you going to do it till 80? Like do you do it until you're just tired of it kind of and you're willing to accept to like be like the feminine guy that you're going to end up being, you know? Like
Hey
like how
Thor,
does what's the end goal, you know?
hold on. Hey Thor, if you scroll up to the top, there is the link. He wants to hop on because so Thor does this too. Thor studies this.
Yeah, yeah.
So Thor, come
Yeah.
on up.
Hold,
I
yeah,
can't give
hold
him the
on.
link.
I'll post it in chat for him. I just got to get
Well,
up
I can
really
no,
quick.
I got it right here. I'll send it to him to Telegram. So yeah, I got it right here.
You already sent it to him?
Yeah, I'm sending it to him right now. Oh, you can't get on there today? All right, I
Oh.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll have you
there's
on third Thor. I would love to DM you, bro, and I'll get you on the next time, like you're able to. Because yeah, I would love to understand. You
I'll
said
send you his
TRT and
Telegram
HRT, but
info.
so HRT what's HRT?
Hormone replacement therapy.
Okay, and but hormone
TRT is
replacement.
testosterone replacement therapy.
Okay, and so what's the difference between those two? Because testosterone is just a hormone, I thought.
It's a hormone, but it's testosterone replacement therapy is just testosterone. Hormone replacement therapy is working on different hormone levels, trying to get all the other levels balanced out. So testosterone replacement therapy just focuses on one thing. So here's the thing. Yes, I take testosterone. I have no problems admitting it. I've been on TRT since I was competing,
Mhm.
and I have cycled off of it. And I've noticed it, because I had low T, and that's what was my problem. Like I was way below what I needed to be, and that's why I got on it. It wasn't because I was competing. I already had low T, so I got on it before I started competing. But what I realized is that I noticed that when I was off of it, I was more depressed. Like
Yeah,
on like there was moments of like on the verge of like suicide. Like just because my hormones were off. So it's a
yeah,
critical hormone for men. It's a very critical hormone. Yeah. Now, do I got to take it for the rest of my life? No, I cycle off of it. You can cycle off. You could do 3 months on, 3 months off. Whatever the case is, whatever is prescribed to you as an individual by your doctor is great. But it's just like this. If you needed to take insulin every day because you were diabetic, would you do it in order to live?
oh yeah, 1000%. Yeah,
Look at it that way.
yeah,
You need to take testosterone if your levels are that low and you're not. It's going to affect your relationship. It's going to affect you. You can affect your work. Your work life. It can affect your personal life. It can affect your mental health. So if taking it is going to benefit that, and if that means you have to take it for the rest of your life, wouldn't you? It's just like taking insulin. If you have to take it for the rest of your life in order to live, wouldn't
yeah.
you?
I really see this as very similar to the antidepressants argument. Like I'm very against antidepressants. I hate SSRIs, but there are people like I forgot what the condition's called where like you're like super depressed, like where when you're hyper depressed for over a year or two, or there's another name for it. Like those people, it's like fuck yeah, you need SSRIs. Your shit's so fucked up, you do fucking need help, you know. So
And like
yeah, I
Thor
definitely can
said,
totally see that.
like Thor said, testosterone when indicated will extend your lifespan. So
Yeah, yeah, and so that's something I'm really curious about. Like I want to see extensive tests on. I don't Google this enough, but I would love to go and research.
you know what?
Because
You're gonna
I don't.
Have Thor
Have you ever
on.
heard Donald Trump? Have you ever heard Donald Trump say that like he doesn't do any type of stuff like that because he thinks it weakens your body and he'll die sooner if he does like physical, like it's like gonna weaken him. Have you ever heard him say that before?
I thought I've heard. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think you just need to have Thor on because Thor is like Thor or Phil Foster or both of them on. Those guys are like geniuses on this. They like me and Thor talk about it all the time. He consults with me, or I go to him with it. I've talked to Phil about it. You know, no, these guys are very knowledgeable, very very knowledgeable, and like the people that are on like SSRIs and stuff. There are some things that I understand medication could help, but for guys, think about this: like a lot of guys that are on antidepressants that are not working out.
They
I
should have just
guarantee
did
you, a
that.
lot of that would change if they actually would go to the gym and work out.
Yeah,
You
or
know,
just did
I mean,
TRT if they just had their fucking hormones checked.
but I mean, even if they didn't want to do TRT, if they would just get in the gym and actually work
Yeah.
out, right? Their natural testosterone level production will be higher, and then that would help them, not be so depressed. If they're still depressed, then they get on TRT, and that might make more of an increase better. So it's really just testosterone and TRT get such a bad rap because they think that everybody's juicing to be like the next, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's really not. It's more. There's so many things that testosterone benefits, man, that don't get talked about. We only see the muscles, and that's what we think. But we don't think about the mental health. We don't think about the cognitive things. We don't think about, it just there's so many different benefits that it gives you. It should never be like shamed or looked at negatively. Now, the abuse of it, of course, there's people that abuse things, of course, that could be looked at negatively. But just for a guy that's like, you know what, I want to get on it because I want to, be healthier. I want to be here longer. I want to live my life the best that I can. It's good to look into. But that's just my
Mhm.
thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. RP Thor, isn't there 5 different synthetic ones that they usually? There's like Cypionate. There's like 5 different kinds, and
There's
you can get the one
Ace,
that has 5 of them
there's
combined.
Ethanate,
There's
there's
like, or no, there's 6 kinds. There's six
There's,
kinds
there's
now,
quite a
actually, I
few.
think.
There's like ethynate, there's
Yeah,
site, there's sip. There's a bunch. Thor knows them all.
yeah, yeah. No, I definitely have a lot of friends in it, so I've always understand it. Something that really bothers me too sometimes is like I'm huge about hobbies. I used to play paintball. I used to travel all over the country for tournaments and stuff. That was something that I was really big in a few years ago, and it really bothers me that guys don't just do a hobby, like a physical hobby, like a hobby that requires you to go run and dive or fucking get hit or do something. Like you're supposed to always be doing shit. I feel like that, but nobody just does hobby. Like I feel like testosterone would be great in everybody if you were constantly competing and being physical at the same fucking time. Because
It gives
competition
you the
fucking
drive
gets you
to
hyped more than
compete.
anything, huh?
It gives the drive to compete. It helps promote that
Yes.
competitive drive, in you.
Yep.
Like I
Yeah.
mean, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, so you're not that much younger than me, but like I'm 38. So like when you get up there, you start noticing the drive go away, and you're like, man. And then you get off work and you just kind of want to like, oh, I just want to lounge around. But before you used to like, get off work, go to the gym, then you go meet up with your buddies, go paintballing or whatever. Like, like as you get older, you just kind of like don't lose the drive. So I mean, testosterone is beneficial to keep that your energy up to help you,
What's
keep
like
going.
really weird for me is like I don't have as much physical drive as I did a few years ago. Like I got in a bad car wreck, and it just made it to where like I don't like doing a lot of physical stuff because my left knee, I tore all of my ligaments, and I hate my left knee now. I need to go fucking work out so I can make it stronger. But I it just made me uh I'm very like my mind is constantly going as if I'm on fucking test. Like my mind is constantly going as if like there's something fucking bigger than me fucking making me do a lot of stuff sometimes. Like that has constant drive, but I don't have the physical drive. I have a crazy mental drive right now. Super hyper mental drive, but the physical drive just ain't there, man. It's just not there. Like I watch my daughter a lot, and like I do a lot of like stupid shit, like that like I have to do. But for the most part, yeah, I don't like being physical. Like I'm like going through. I definitely need to go get my levels checked. Next time, RP Thor, whenever we do a show, I'm gonna make sure to have my levels checked so we can go over it together, and
Oh,
it'll be
he
like a
does
really
great
fun
with
episode
that.
if we do that.
He's great
Huh?
with that. He's definitely great
Yeah,
with
it
that.
would be really fun to do something like that. I think because Michael Sartain has been teasing me about going and get my levels checked, so I need to fucking do it sooner or later.
And I
Um,
get the knee injury because like I was involved in a motorcycle accident almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half now, and it's kept me out doing the stunt work I used to do. I used to do a lot of stunt work in movies, and so it made it difficult. So like even now, like I went to the gym today and I did legs, and even now, like my legs are shaking. I had surgery on my left knee in 2018 after my last show, and then I had a treatment done on my right knee after the motorcycle accident. And my back is like I have 2 herniated discs, I have a busted knee. And so now I tell you, it sucks. Knee pain, knee injuries alone, like so the motorcycle accident alone or the car accident you've been through alone would be enough to make you like, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't want to re-injure myself by accident or
that's
because of
my fear,
physics.
bro.
Yeah, and it's
Like
like,
I'm so scared to go play paintball and just slide on my side like I used to, and then it's just like, well, I can't stand up now.
yeah.
Like I just fucked my shit
Yeah,
again.
how do you the only way you could get back to that or even get close to something doing those things again is by strengthening those muscles,
Yeah,
by reinforcing them with muscles and putting them to work, right? That's the only way they're gonna get better. Like, yeah, I look like a baby deer walking like Bambi did when I'm doing leg day, or even when I'm walking down a flight of stairs, sometimes I have to grab the rail because my knees are buckling because of the injuries. But I gotta work through it. I still
yeah,
go do my leg day. I still go put on the weights. I may not be bent or deadlifting or squatting 550 like I used to, but I'm
yeah.
still doing whatever I can to strengthen those muscle groups up to where I could still be active and beneficial long time.
Yeah, I loved when I did my rehab because it felt awesome whenever like I could use my knee perfectly fine. Like when I was rehabbing it, it felt great. That's why I need to get back in the gym because I would be able to rehab it again and I would feel great again. Like if it's something that I need to do. So hopefully everybody on the internet knows this, so y'all can hold me accountable and fucking make sure I don't fuck up. We go ahead and get to the end. Kind of the last thing I kind of want to talk to you about is um me personally, I see myself really in the middle between like two different spectrums right now. I really see like Michael Sartain teaching pre-selection, teaching, how to get women that way, with the social circle game. And then we have like Fresh and Fit over here that teaches don't be friends with girls. Don't do cold approach, use everything, use online, use all these different methods. And then it's like me in the middle that's saying we need to take the best of these things but get the fuck off the internet and do it all in the real world. And like do you think that like me going like head first like trying to do like that genre, like do you think this is going to be like a good thing for me or a bad thing for me in the long run?
I think only time will tell, right? What the results will show. The results will determine whether or not that approach or that method is beneficial, right? Um, you're gonna know whether or not it works on the people's lives that change that you impact, right? Like that's gonna be the determining fact. Michael Sartain's method is works. So does cold approach works. So does utilizing all the stupid apps and shit that
Mhm.
somebody had success on it. So we do know that it does work at times. Um, there's so many different ways to get to the same end goal, and it depends on how you want to write your map. We're all trying to get to the same place, right? We're all trying to get to the end of the race. How you
Very true.
choose to run that race is dependent upon you, right? It depends upon the individual. If the social circle works, I mean, I like social circle, not even for the girls aspect. I got a baddie myself, so I'm good on girls. I never had a problem
You're
getting
doing it
girls.
for the career more.
For the networking aspect.
Yeah.
So for guys that want to get girls, I understand why you would do that. There's and you know what, cold approach, that's what back in my day, like, look, we didn't have apps back in the day. Okay, you wanted to talk to a girl, you had to have the balls to go up there and actually ask her out, okay, and get shot down. Guys from like my generation, we know what rejection is because we got rejected more than anything in person. Okay, we didn't have to worry about being ghosted. Ghosted was probably a good thing for us, but like it's just like it's different. So I see the benefits of all things, I see the benefits that Marco Sartain does because it puts you in person with these people in this, this in the social structure, in this status level, right? That people you want to be around with, that are going to elevate you. That does benefit you. And then there's these hot girls there that will benefit, that you could give the opportunity to talk to them if you wanted to. So that works. I understand that. Cold approach and having the confidence and the level up your game, that works too. And then maybe combining the two and meeting in the middle, what you're doing, I could see theoretically how that could work too. But it's like it's not just one way or the other way. There's multiple ways to get to the end of the race. And it's all
Many
about
ways to skin a cat.
What works best for you.
Yeah. Many ways to skin a cat, guys. It's just a matter of, which one. I really feel like what's going to happen is the guys that watch my shit, y'all are going to resonate with me. Y'all are the type of guys that like to be in real life more. Y'all are the type of guys that like to be friends with women, like to have a social circle of women, like to find a woman that's nice and young and not fucked up yet to be, relationship material. I hope I just attract those type of people, and maybe that's what I'm going to have. Let's go over some of these comments really quick.
I think you have a great opportunity in the lane that you're in, although the purple pill theology like kind of gets a bad rap, right?
I should have named it Red Pill fucking pod, bro. Biggest mistake biggest L of my life.
It was bad branding.
It was, bro.
It works. I get it. But you know what? Like, I want people to understand, like, even Rolo says, like, you know what? You got to have some beta traits too. You can't be super alpha. You can't be all alpha and expect to have a healthy, long-lasting, loving relationship with the girl.
1,000%, bro.
So you have to have some beta traits too. So there's nothing wrong with, understanding that you're going to be a little purplish or maybe rubyish. I don't know. You're not going to be all red and you're not going to be all blue. Maroon, I don't know, like so, like wine color, I guess. It takes that and to maintain a healthy relationship. But I think what we got to figure out, and what guys need to figure out, is that are they gaining this information? Are they taking this information just to get laid? Then if that's the goal and that's what they're going for, then don't be mad that you're not in a relationship, right? Because you're not practicing the things that you need to do to be in a relationship. Now, if you're trying to be in a relationship and you're, doing like the Playboy thing, well, then don't be mad that you're not in a relationship because you're not doing anything to do it right. So find out what season you're in. And I'm talking to the audience, find out what season you're in. What is your end goal? Okay. And what works for your worldview? And that's the thing about the red pill. I think a lot of people don't understand is that there are a bunch of tools in the red pill. You don't have to use them all. You don't have to prescribe to all of them. Okay. I for instance, I'm a big person. Like now, when I look back at things, I say, you know what? Sex before marriage is a bad thing. It's not a good thing. I don't recommend it to young guys. Although I did it and I banged a lot of them, but I don't recommend it. And it's like, oh, well, practice what you preach. I wish I did. It would have saved me a lot of headaches and a lot of heartache if I would have done that. But take it from somebody that's been there, and I'm telling you, it just save it as much as you can, like, because it will benefit you overall in the long run. Now I understand the benefits of making sure the girl has sexual desire for you and all that stuff. But I would tell you guys, like, hey, look at Mike from Iron Disciples. Dude's 29 years old, still a virgin. My hat's off to him. I salute him all the time for having the discipline to do that. Man, that's amazing, right? Because he's bringing something of value into this scenario there when he gets in a relationship. So so I don't tell guys to go ahead and go get laid, and I'll tell them to spin plates, but that doesn't mean you have to have sex with all the plates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's things that we could pick up and utilize, and there's things that we don't have to utilize in the red pill, and it still be okay. It's what your worldview is. What works best for your worldview? We're just giving you tools, and you got to determine from your worldview, is this going to be right for you or not? and that's it.
Also for your purpose, you know, because like that guy's purpose, you know, that's meant for his purpose. Like a guy who comes on my show, his name's Street Hymns. He's a battle rapper. He's like 30 something years old, and he's a battle rapper, and he's badass, like very smart about everything Christian, everything, you know, sex related. He doesn't have sex, but he can fucking body some girls on some fucking. If you like to sleep around, he'll make you sound really stupid in a battle rap about it. Like he's
Oh,
very
I
good
got bars
at you know,
too. You know what?
yeah.
Don't let the gray hair fool you. I opened up for Bone Thugs and Harmony and Too Short back in 2000 and it was 2000. Yeah, DJ
Oh
Felly
my
Fell did a
god,
concert in.
I love Bone Thugs and Harmony, bro. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, me
That's
and
crazy.
Offie
That's
just
some old
saw
school
me and
shit.
Offie just saw Lazy Bone. What was it? I think it was back in January. Me and Offie saw Lazy Bone at a the live performance of what was it? New Jack City.
What the fuck? That's crazy, bro. No, you're definitely old school as fuck, man.
yeah,
Yeah. No, well, dude, it was such a good stream, bro. Thank you so much for coming and doing this, guys. I was
yeah.
supposed to have somebody else, and he came through last minute. Thank you so much, bro. It was really great having you on, man. I'm just happy because we proved something that a lot of people don't think is possible, and that we can have respectful conversations about disagreements in the manosphere, and it doesn't fucking mean anything. It's just like another. We're just iron sharpening iron right here, baby. It's no big deal at all.
That's the whole point of this space. I mean, honestly, it's to help men out, right? And the best way we can help men out is by challenging and showing contrast to different, opinions. There's things that you hold that I find a value now. There's things that I hold that you may find a value now, and that just edifies us. That just makes us stronger.
Makes it
It equips
stronger.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not everything has to be so negative and disagreeable to where we're like, oh, they're an idiot. Like, no, it's not that. Like, hey, their worldview is different than mine. I get it. Like,
Yeah. Don't get caught up in the hyperbole and the red meat, everybody. You got
yeah.
to be
Now, if you
careful.
want red meat, you can watch what I do because I make fun of a lot of people in my comedy stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's always blood sports and there's always red meat, but like Rolo was saying on that episode the other night, it's like what did he say? It's like fake wrestling.
yeah,
It's like yeah, like we hate each other on the screen for everybody to watch, but in reality, it's just wrestling, bro. We're just having
and there's
fun.
not a lot of people I hate. There's not a lot of people I hate. There's a lot of people I dislike. There's a lot of people I have no respect for, but I don't hate them, and I'll give them the opportunity to make, clarify things. Like Ruslan, I'm waiting for you, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he comes and steps into the WWF ring soon, and we can fucking watch it or something. But shit, bro, thank you so much for coming, man. This was a fire ass fucking male improvement show, man. I really appreciate you coming and
Absolutely.
having
No,
this
thank you
discussion
for
with me,
the
man.
invitation, bro. Thank you for the
Yeah,
invitation.
no, thank you, bro.
But I'll be out,
Guys,
man.
we will. Y'all, please go fucking follow him. He's right now tagged in the title. Go subscribe to his channel. Please go subscribe. He's one of my favorite people in the Red Pill sphere when it comes to Christian content and talking about the Christian perspective of everything that's in this sphere, which y'all know how I am about that. So he's my right hand guy when it comes to this shit, guys. Please go subscribe to him. But yeah, guys, I will see y'all on Friday. We're gonna have a really good panel show. We got Red Pill Crip coming. It's gonna be fire. He's bringing a friend also. I think that's a really big influencer. So it's gonna be a really fire show, guys. We will see y'all on Friday though. Yeah, peace the fuck out. I can't do the Tulu.